Today's adventure for the new Sukhoi owner is changing the tires. These are not your Cessna tires. Come on along and watch.
Sukhoi jacks are not like American hydraulic jacks. They are built with a lead screw and manually extended. The airplane is jacked by putting a bar through a channel built into the fuselage, connecting the jack you see on each side, and then screwing the jacks until the airplane's lifted off the ground. To lift the airplane, you have to go back and forth, screwing each jack up a few inches, and the landing gear slowly slides inward until both wheels are clear of the ground. On the inboard side of the gear leg, you will find a nut that connects the long bolt to the brake pressure plate that lives on the outside of the wheel. As you can see from the pictures, you're going to have to undo the safety wire, take the clip off, take the key off, and then you can undo the nut. Once you've removed the nut from the inboard side of the landing gear leg, you can go to the outboard side of the wheel and tire and remove the pressure plate that operates the brakes. As you can see from the picture, now you can access the multi-disc brake system. With the pressure plate removed, we can now see the spline bushing that screws into the wheel hub. As you can see from these pictures, you're going to undo the safety wire, and then you're going to use a 27mm wrench to unscrew the spline bushing and remove the discs that ride on it. As you can see from the center picture, the plates that actually have the brake pads riveted to them have tabs that fit into the wheel hub. Removing the cone-shaped brake backing plate from the axle will finally let you remove the wheel. You will want to keep all of the brake plates arranged in order so that you don't mix up the rotor plates with the plates that have the brake pads riveted to them. They have to go back on the airplane in the correct order. Okay, now you can slide the wheel off. You'll find two wheel bearings, one on each side, and a spacer in between them. And I guess since we're here, we might as well clean and grease the wheel bearings. So the wheel comes apart from the inboard side, as you can see in the picture on the left. But before we attack that, we're going to want to use our favorite tools to let all the air pressure out of the tire, and then use a bead breaker tool to loosen the tire on the wheel. Looking at the inboard side of the wheel hub, you press down on the major part of the hub to expose a large locking ring that can be removed by carefully prying it up and setting it aside. That exposes 3 locating pins that must be carefully pulled out. With the locking ring and the locating pins set aside, you can separate the old tire and tube from the wheel hub and discard them. Take a look at the wheel hub and you will see a slot machined in it, and that is specifically to hold the new tube's valve stem. Assembling the tire onto the tube, you want to make sure you use lots of talc, because that tube's going to want to slide around as you manipulate the valve stem into the channel that is part of the wheel hub. You're going to want to partially inflate the tube you're going to want to pull that valve stem into the channel that's in the wheel. In the picture on the right, you can see a couple of valve stem extensions that, if you screw them onto the valve stem, give you a grip to put it to where you need it. You're going to want to not forget to put those dowel pins back into place. And as you can see from the picture on the left, you're going to need to push in on the wheel half and slide the locking ring back into place. You'll need to line that up with the valve stem. And having done that, you can fully inflate the tire. And once again, while you do that, hold that valve stem where it needs to be. And at that point, you should have an assembled wheel. With the new tube and tire assembled onto the wheel hub, you can then reassemble the brake system and mount it all back on the airplane. You get to do both sides of the airplane, and when that is done, you can unscrew the jacks and the airplane should be ready to go flying. Thanks for listening.